Hi. Don't mind the sweat. It's a heat wave here, so I'm sweating. My fan's on, so if you hear that, that's also why. It's a heat wave. And, I don't know. I just wanted to talk today. Hang out. Talk about things that have been interesting me and that I've been doing this past summer. I want this video to be very casual, which also means that I don't really have anything prepared. Definitely no script, barely any talking points besides the obvious ones that I know that I want to touch on. So this video could go all over the place. It could go nowhere, which will most likely be what happens. So if I eventually post this, editing me is gonna have a very fun time editing this. I just have a bit of writer's block, creator's block, if you will, but still wanted to write something and just thought that I would go with the flow as opposed to trying to write something in my head prior, filming it, and then editing it, all with this perfect idea of what I want to do, because that's not how I feel right now, and I feel like I put too much pressure on myself to have a great idea and then never either make said idea or do it and put it off for months. Or not months, weeks. And I just want to be more consistent in creative endeavors because I have the time. I'm not working right now. I'm currently looking for work, which is also work, I will not lie. I spend too much time looking for work and applying, and it is very tiring, but I also have a lot of time to do a lot of more maybe fun things that I don't have the time to do when I was working or earlier when I was in school. So why not just do what I want to do and figure it out along the way. Actually been really nice. I feel like at the beginning of when it gets warmer, so mid-spring, early summer, I just want to be out every single possible moment that I can be out. I have FOMO when I'm not outside, and that can mean either being out for a picnic, getting a drink with friends, either like on the canal, which is in Paris, or like at a bar, or just being by myself and going to read in the park or going for long walks or like whatever. I have FOMO if I'm not doing something and I'm just inside all day. It drives me crazy. And I feel like now that it's been hot and I have no more envy of being outside, it's less likely that I feel like that, but I've had like quite a lot of fun evenings out, nights out, that the summer feeling that of course can only happen when it's summer because you're outside and it's hot and you're drinking and you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And so it's been fun. It's been a fun summer. I also went away to Brittany, which is by the water. If you're not familiar with French geography, it's really beautiful and full of nature, and the water is really cold, but it's like crystal clear blue. So how could you not like it? It's Friday night, I feel it coming. There's only one thing And I'm also the type of person who loves to swim. I grew up by the water. I spent so much time in the water, and so for me, living in a city that's definitely more landlocked, it's very important to touch salt water and to be in it, and to be in it as often as possible. Otherwise, I will combust. Okay, I won't, but I really love the water. That's what I'm trying to say here. So I love the ocean, and I love swimming, and so that was nice to be at the beach basically for like 2 weeks. I also have been reading a lot, actually, since the beginning of the year. A lot for me, that is. I've read 14 books so far. I'm on my 15th book, and I've read so many good books. To name a few off the top of my head, Les was just amazing. I loved how profound it was and speaking about love in a more mature way, and just also about aging and how our life doesn't stop after every single age milestone. We continue on, and we keep loving or falling or just doing stuff. We're not dead, so we continue. And it was also just very witty and really wonderfully written, and it's definitely a book I would recommend. I also recently finished Crossroads. It's about an American family in the 1970s, and it talks about war and religion and how religion manifests in different types of people and how they interpret, well, how to be a good Christian, because it's about a family that is Christian. And I don't mean that in the sense that this book is a Christian book, but it just kind of examines what that meant in that time period, especially pertaining to things like the civil rights, but for white people. I don't mean civil rights for white people, but I mean like white people being a part of the civil rights movement and what that meant to be in that time period, but also other things like, okay, well, what does it mean to be a good person? And how a lot of the things that we think are quote-unquote good are actually manifesting as more selfish desires. It's just how we hide that selfish desire to feel more moral or whatever. Anyway, that's a tangent and an interesting theme in the book. But I really loved the way that it was written and how rich the characters are in this book and how profound their lives are and how one thing influences another and how we can see that through a multi-generational family. I think in terms of movies and series, I've had a little less luck. It's not to say that I haven't seen anything that I really liked, but nothing that's really wowed me or that I've wanted to talk about, because it's already been talked about 10 billion times or whatever on YouTube, or I just didn't feel like I had enough to say about it, or there are parts that I liked about it and parts that I didn't like about it, and so it's not that I want everything that I talk about to be 100% a coup de corps, but I just wasn't really feeling it. I think I have a love-hate relationship with summer. It's so hot, so humid, but it's light out longer, more people want to do things. It's fun in a way, and it's not my favorite season, and I don't think it would ever be my favorite season, but I think it's up there in terms of like memories that I've created that are really important to me and that really bring nostalgia but also happiness. Summer is just such a weird season for me. It's never been my favorite season, but I also know that I have so many fundamental memories from my childhood, from these past, 10 years or whatever, of experiences during the summer. Memories of just how amazing life can be with the most simple of things, whether that's just having a bottle of wine with friends or reading in the park or enjoying your surroundings. And summer, because you're outside more, or because at least I'm outside more, it's easier to appreciate the small things and be more aware of what's happening around you. I mean, physically around you. However, I don't think I like the month of August. I find it too depressing in a way, even though here in France it's like the month that everybody takes vacation. So it's technically the best month because everybody's at the beach and nobody's working and it's all supposed to be like good, relaxed vibes. But I find it to be very depressing because it's the dog days of summer. So it's the end. It's very bittersweet, and it's of course right before you go back to school. So I think I have just like this negative connotation with August, that it's the end of freedom and then the return to more structure and obligations and things like that. Of course, as you get older, those obligations never end because you aren't on summer vacation anymore, but it's something that still continues with you, or at least this feeling, it has continued with me. It makes me not as excited for this month. I think I take it for granted sometimes. And I mean, as cheesy and as cliched as it is, it's important to remember those small moments and how much happiness it can bring when we just stop and, well, physically and figuratively smell the roses.